Hi, I'm Gene Liu, and I'm an otolaryngologist, head and neck surgeon, or ear, nose, and throat doctor here in Los Angeles. And today I wanted to talk about nosebleeds. Anybody can have nosebleeds, but usually they're very mild. If you have a lot of nosebleeds on a regular basis, or if they're severe, it might be worth seeing an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Anything that makes your nose dry is going to increase the likelihood of bleeding. So if you spend a lot of time in the desert and go to Phoenix or Las Vegas, it's more likely to bleed. If it's wintertime and cold and you're cranking up that old dry radiator heat and it's sucking all of the moisture out of the air, that's going to increase the likelihood of bleeding as well. Certainly trauma to the nose, so if you get punched, if you pick your nose too hard, those can cause breaks in the surface and cause some bleeding. Pipes are more likely to burst and leak water when the water pressure is high. Same is true for blood vessels, so if your blood pressure is running high, you're more likely at that moment to pop a bleed. If you have an underlying clotting disorder like von Willebrand's or hemophilia, then nosebleeds are going to be more common. A lot of medications also thin out the blood, like aspirin, advil, motrin, ibuprofen, aleve, most of the over-counter pain medicines except for tylenol. Any patient that's taking warfarin, coumadin, plavix, or other blood thinning medications is also going to be at increased risk for nosebleeds. To handle the dryness, it usually helps to have a humidifier. It also may be useful to have saline or saltwater spray for your nose. Just like chapped lips that get dry and split, you can slather on a bunch of ointment to try to get the area to heal. Inside the nose, that can be using neosporin or bacitracin or some other over-the-counter antibiotic ointment. It can be using vaseline or saline gel or air gel. There really isn't a specific brand that's going to be a lot better than the other, but the concept or the idea is like chapstick for the lips. To apply ointment in the nose, the area that we want to get is the septum in the middle and along the floor. So you can either use your finger as just this little pad here at the tip, or with a Q-tip, and you want to gently apply it without traumatizing the area. You certainly want to avoid trauma to the nose. That can be nose picking, it can be very harsh nose blowing. You really don't want to futz with the nose too much. If you have high blood pressure, you want to make sure that the blood pressure is as controlled as possible. You generally also want to avoid activities that give you a sudden surge in blood pressure. So think of anything that makes the little veins in your head pop out. That includes exercising, lifting weights, doing a headstand or handstand. You want to take it easy as things are trying to heal. If you're taking over-the-counter pain medicines like motrin, ibuprofen, advil, generally a good idea to take a break for a little bit. If you're on blood-thinning medications or aspirin for your heart, make sure you talk to your regular doctor before you stop these. We've talked a little bit about what causes nosebleeds and how to avoid them or minimize them. Now I'm going to talk about how to control one when it's actually happening. Almost always nosebleeds are going to be from the front of the nose along the septum in the middle, and it's usually due to dryness. So you get a little crack in the skin and the blood vessels and it just pours out. Almost always, like any other bleeding source, you want to put pressure. So if you get a big cut on your arm and it's pumping to the ceiling, you want to put pressure right there. So for the nose, that means pinching it right down in the front. If you only push on one side, it kind of shoves everything over, but it doesn't get as much pressure on it, so you really want to push on both. Hold it that way for a few minutes to give your body enough time to form a clot, and then you should be okay. A lot of people recommend pinching up here by the nasal bridge, but that actually doesn't put pressure directly on the bleeding source. That usually isn't going to be that helpful. A lot of people will take tissues and shove it inside the nostril. That may stop the bleeding, but when you take it out, you're left with a more dry area that may lead to more bleeding later. And sometimes when you take out the tissue, you pull off the clot that's been forming and it starts all over again. Ideally, you want to stop sticking and taking things out of your nose. You want to keep the level of your head above the heart. That's going to be best from a bleeding standpoint. But if you've been bleeding enough where you're lightheaded, you may need to lie down just so that you don't pass out. Bending your head forward or back only changes the direction of where the blood comes out. So bending forward is more likely to drip through the front of your nose. Bending back is more likely to drip down to your throat. Either way, it doesn't slow down the bleeding. Cold temperature will help clamp down on blood vessels. That's why you get really pale when you're out in the freezing weather. So if you're having nosebleeds, what you want to do is apply something cold. That means potentially drinking or gargling with ice water, putting something cold over your face and nose. You can even stick ice chips or ice cubes inside the mouth. The floor of the nose is the roof of the mouth, so that will help cut down on the bleeding. You want to avoid things that increase blood flow, like heat or hot liquids. If you have a lot of nosebleeds, another thing that's helpful to have around the house is aspirin nasal spray or oxymetazoline. It's generally a decongestant, it's over the counter, but during a bleed it really helps clamp down on the blood vessels. Almost every ear, nose, and throat doctor uses aspirin in the operating room to cut down on bleeding for nasal surgeries. If you have bleeding that's more dramatic or more severe or more prolonged and can't be controlled by the methods that I've talked about, then there are certainly options that the ear, nose, and throat doctor may provide. At the end of the day, we want to keep things as moist as possible, we want to minimize the trauma, we want to keep the blood pressure normal, and we want to avoid things that make the blood thin if we can. Hopefully this helps. If you have any additional questions, please leave it in the comments below.